Hi, it's Ivana Wilson here, and I assume that you're here watching me because you might be involved in initiating, developing, or managing complex projects such as those in the resource industry, for example, in the oil and gas, renewable, mining, nuclear, or even government and construction. So if you really want to know how to increase the success rate of the projects, then you must be interested in this topic. You might be in a situation where your organization already has some sort of stage gate process in place, but perhaps it seems rigid, confusing, and not followed or even misunderstood. You might have many opportunities coming your way, and with the limited resources available, you need to learn how to choose the right projects to execute. You might experience a high volume of project recycle or rework, or perhaps your projects are usually complex and require the involvement of a variety of stakeholders. You might also have a high turnover of key project personnel. These are the types of organizations that I would typically work with. So if this sounds like you, then you are in the right place. Look, and I get that. I've been working on complex oil and gas projects for over 15 years, initially as a quality assurance engineer based in London, working for major international EPC contractors. I was mainly working on FEED and in execute phases. And as we ran a project, we had some ups and downs, and one of the things that used to always surprise me was when the project got cancelled, which, as you know, happens from time to time. And it would happen because the project would lose funding, or the value proposition was not clear anymore, or perhaps the stakeholders got misaligned. And I could never understand that how could you spend all the money and time and then get the project stopped? Until I joined a large energy company in Australia, where I really learned about the project life cycle and the practical way to turn an idea to a project and then to a final result. My job in Australia was to work closely with development and project teams and help with framing. By framing those opportunities early on, we were able to get them moved to the next phase. And with 10 years of experiences in that field, I've developed the key principles for moving those opportunities forward and maintaining the value created in such a way that stakeholders are constantly aligned and the team engaged. So what I'm about to show you is a formula that has been used by thousands of companies in different industries, different markets around the world, in all kinds of different languages, and it has worked all over again when applied properly using 6 key principles. So let's start with, what is the stage gate process? In my opinion, stage gate process is the framework for realizing opportunities of any kind, no matter how complex. And although I learned this approach in the oil and gas industry initially, I have also used this successfully with nonprofits and my own personal projects, such as moving my family from Australia to the United States. So let's get into this. Look, every project can be broken up into phases and gates. Usually the team does the work during the phase and produces some kind of deliverables, and then moves to the gate for a review and then to the next phase. So where do we start? We start on the left and we move to the right. We start by defining what the idea is about. You might get your idea from a customer, competitor, from business development department, exploration, operation. For example, finding a new technology that would work with a particular market, or building a new bridge across the city, or even finding a new exploration discovery, or modifying an existing plant, a typical brownfield project. An idea can make or break a project and even a company. Therefore, it is critical to have a large number of ideas coming through, which you screen at the start. And after that, you move on to the first phase, let's say the assess phase. To understand what's required to realize the entire opportunity and see the benefits, you must frame the idea in the assess and understand the value proposition, the benefits versus the cost, the clear strategic fit with your organizational strategies, and you must create a good roadmap. Framing and creating a roadmap, it's one of the fundamental principles that must happen at the start. And I tell you, this is not often done properly. So when I say an idea, it is usually a problem. The better you define the problem, the better you can define the solution. Let's look at the second phase now, which we often call the concept phase. It's all about finding the right kind of solution. This is where we generate and evaluate a wide range of creative, feasible solutions, options or alternatives, and we select one. For example, when you build a brand new home in West Palm Beach, Florida, the concept phase will be about whether it's a one-story or two-story building. If it's a fresh discovery, exploration discovery, it will be all about what's the best way, what's the most effective way to make money. Would it be through FPSO, subsea tieback to existing platform, or a pipeline to an onshore platform? Let's go to a third phase, develop, which involves taking the concept from the previous phase and developing it further. The goal of this phase is to bring everything together, update the cost and schedule, obtain funding, obtain approvals, and really prepare for the implementation of the project. As a general rule, the first three phases we call development, and then we move into a project. The development becomes a project, and this is when we strictly begin to use project management practices. Then when we go through the third gate, the final investment decision gate, we are moving finally to the execution phase. And this is when we make things happen. This is where everyone knows we are building a house. It's all about execution. And then the last phase, called operate, it's when we move into a newly built environment, when we start operating a newly built plant, when we have upgraded, altered the plant, installed new technology, increased efficiencies and safety, etc. Between those phases, we have gates. And this is when we make a decision about the future of the opportunity. The opportunity will either be moved forward, will be recycled, stopped, or put on hold. So this is generally how the stage gate process works, and sometimes the phases we call it differently. For example, the first phase might be called a discovery or initiation, but the mechanism is always the same. So what you must know is that a successful stage gate model must help you to differentiate between those opportunities that may eventually become a success and those that are likely to fail. So it's all about using this approach to validate the right kind of ideas and pursuing the right projects for your organization at the right time. And look, there are 6 key principles that you need to know in order to use this framework properly and get the results you want. So in the next video, I will explain to you one of the key principles, that is scalability. How to scale this framework so that it can apply to any type of project, no matter what size or complexity. And I'll also share with you how you could integrate with Agile methodology. So thanks for watching and see you soon.